Hello everybody, this is a grumpy old guy gaming, and today we're going to go back and revisit Rampart, a game I lovingly call F Your Ships. This is the NES port. This is the version I played growing up as a kid. Played the cartridge through to the point where it wouldn't even, register in my Nintendo anymore unless we had the Game Genie on it. Not that I used the Game Genie for anything more than fitting the cartridges in, because I think the pins were a little bent. Didn't know any codes anyway, and well before the internet or computer capabilities. So we're starting in the beginner zone. If you haven't seen, we did the Master System port of this game a few weeks back. That one I didn't actually know existed. This one I'm very familiar with. This would actually be a pretty popular contribution for me for the video game pool for sleepovers when I go stay over a buddy's place. So we would play quite a bit. Warning in advance, I suck at building. Something about the timer and the music just always frazzled my nerves a bit. So literally me getting 3 castles closed in there is about as good as it gets, and as you could see between each round, once you get your castles built in, you'll get a number of new cannons to place in your available area depending on how well you did and how many forts you've got under control. Then between rounds you go ahead and try and take out the enemy ships while they blast holes in your fortifications. They really can't do anything to your cannonry, but if they ever put you in an area where you can't close the walls completely, then you're SOL and you can't use those cannons. If you don't have any areas closed in completely, as you can see when it's closed in, the background gets all blackened out there to let you know that area is complete. Once you have that set up, if you don't have any areas in the black like that, then you're defeated. And if you're defeated 3 times, you lose the game. That's game over. So this is only a couple rounds in, and we've pretty much got the whole island covered. Good bit of fortification too. Just gonna breeze through the points. I never did take much stock, and I'm getting 5 cannons. I think the most I've ever seen got in a single round is 6. So we're doing real good there. And you see a couple double-masted ships there. Those guys, if they land on the coast, they'll drop off Marines, and the Marines will start infiltrating the island, and they'll try to get into the fortifications, basically to block you from being able to build your walls easily. So we've got 3 small areas still honed in there, and we just kind of got to fill the wall back in. Got everything patched together. Now we've got all the forts in, and this is just extra fortification to put up in case we have to go another round. I'm pretty sure we're going to win round 1 off of this. Of course, the more bricks you could put in and the more layers of fortification you could put in, the tougher it is for them to blast through. And every now and then you'll luck into a round where you'll still have a fort completely closed in, even after the shooting is done. There you see we conquered the first area, and we are on to the second. The island is principally the same. One thing that I noticed is how much simpler, I forgot how much simpler the graphics were on the NES port here. Just see a basic green flat grid there for most of this, and it's still just a flat landscape. Taking a look at it in the battle scene, runs nice and smooth, which is the important thing, and I always did love the look of the game there. There you see we took out 2 ships on that volley. Gonna try and finish off this last one. Had just enough to get it at the buzzer. Man, are we shot to hell though. Go ahead and start closing in. Another thing I noticed, that beginning area also gives you the most merciful amount of blocks that are easy to use. You start getting those cross-shaped pieces here more frequently, and Just all sort of annoying stuff that doesn't really fit well anywhere. But of course we're making a good go of it. Decided to stay a little closer to home there and just make sure what I built was solid. Still got room for my cannons though, only picking up 3 because we only got 2 there. See, those double-masted ships are moving fast as hell. And yeah, that little blue guy that dropped off was a Marine. You can see I was in there was no shortage of time in me just shooting him off the damn land. Do not want to be messing with those guys. So 1 ship's left over, that's going to carry over to the next round. And now we got to rebuild this. It's always a danger with me that I'll waste the really good pieces. So it was kind of a relief to get into a situation here where we were able to close in. I do tend to overthink things too when I'm trying to do anything like this. See, I got another fort cleared out there, but there is literally no room to put anything there. So we're going to be getting our 4 cannons, and I've just literally got to squeeze them into what room I have left from the beginning. Now if you remember, there was a bit of an interior wall there that, since it wasn't completely closed off, the game was nice enough to sort of remove for us. Give us a little bit extra space. After all, the game is hard, it's just fair. It's not one of those games that's just going to punish you for the sin of playing it. It'll treat you fair, it just won't treat you nice. And given the fact that it's a console port of coin-op, you kind of expect that. If you're looking for more of what I'm thinking on that subject, I did a video in October on Ghosts and Goblins, and that pretty much summed up my feelings on that subject just about perfectly. Now here I put myself in a tough position. You need that little 1 square or 2 square rectangle to fit in that gap there, and I end up not getting my 3rd fort back, and I really messed myself over on space. I'm only going to be able to place like 2 cannons there. Hey, just enough room for the 3rd. I shot this footage a couple days back, so if it seems like I forgot everything that was going on here, lo and behold, I forgot everything that was going on here. It's been a crazy week. Speaking of crazy, we got double-masted ships docking on opposite ends of the map, so I'm going to lose a fair bit of progress just to shoot those Marines off. And it's not going to matter because they're still docked at the end of the round, and you can see the Marines are still there. Those are the little blue annoying army ants that are moving through the map and making it impossible for us to look at building out. At this point it'll be a miracle to get our existing fort together, which we somehow managed to, and have a couple seconds left to build extra fortification. But nothing too solid. A lot of our walls are just single layer and really easily blown apart, especially when you're looking at 7 ships in the harbor. No new cannons for us, so we better figure out a way to deal with these ships now. Gonna have to clear the harbor. That's our only real chance, because these Marines are just gonna keep coming after us, and my pitiful shooting is not helping the cause. We managed to get the double-masted ships out of the way, but the single-masters are still very much there. And the Marines all over my spot there. Just get that wall secured, but we're under 15 seconds already, and there's so much more to rebuild. There's really only so many small pieces you're going to see in a build session. So I kind of feel like I kind of screwed the pooch here. You would not be wrong. Got nothing closed in, and that is defeat number 1. Good news is the little point tally had us over 10,000 already. So we kind of look like we know what we're doing. Gonna pick a place a little further up the coastline now. Hopefully make it a little easier to shoot. And we get a bit of a weapons upgrade. Game's gonna give us slightly better cannonry and a much easier pull of ships. These are all moving slow and only 1 double master. Take them out before they dock, and now there's nothing to do but blow these guys out of our ocean. couple holes in the wall. Let's see if we can't just patch that up. Get a cross piece, my least favorite thing of all. Trying to live true to the channel name here. Seems a little weird that I call myself a grumpy old guy gaming and then I'm just sitting there talking about how lovely all of the games are and how great they are to play. Every now and then I just kind of have to be a crabby SOB, you know? It's a quota thing. So we got our fort closed in there. That'll give us a couple more cannons. Again, we're sort of building back from zero here on the ship allocation. So we've got another slow-moving double-master, take it out easily, and then go hunting down these little single-mast ships. Once again, couple holes blown out, and right by the border, so probably behoove us more, since there's no great amount of cannonry we've got here, to just ignore that fort and move on to the next. But that's not my speed. I'd rather close in what we got. And manage to there and even pick up another fort. Still got a couple seconds, so we'll just drop a couple pieces there and make life a little more difficult on the attacking navy. Three new cannons to the cause. Got a decent little fortress here against a couple double masters. Lead those beautifully. One manages to drop off a marine, and then we blow them right through the ground before finishing off the rest of that small fleet. Time for one more rebuild session. I really love taking out that border side there, right by the edge of the map. So I'm just kind of on the hunt in my head for that little square piece. If I come across it, I know where it's gotta go. 5 seconds, kind of surprised I haven't seen it yet. There it is. And we're all closed in. Nick of time there. And we get a little bonus area too. That was more luck than skill, as most of my accomplishments tend to be. 4 cannons to place, and we're going to have just enough room to do it. Preparing for battle. One nice thing the NES port had was some really nice voice files. Pretty clear to hear. The old "prepare for battle." I do a terrible impersonation of it, but again, I've got the audio low because I'm not sure what's going to be copyright stricken and what isn't. So that sidewall is all kinds of a mess. And again, I would be better behooved looking at it in the cold light of day, a couple days removed from filming, to just say, you know what, those 4 cannons had a good run. And eventually I end up doing exactly that. That actually surprises me that I used my head there and didn't just panic and tried to save it all. Get through that round, up over 15,000, and that's gonna be enough to conquer the second zone. Moving to this third area. A little bit of a closed off cape. See that bright orange ship on the left side? That's a fire ship. It's gonna start firebombing us, and you have to enclose a spot that a fire ship hits inside an existing fortification, or else it just keeps burning forever and you can't build there. So it's important to shoot those fire ships right out of the water as soon as possible. You'll see what I'm talking about here. In the upper left hand corner there, where we had a section of wall, we now have a smoldering crater. So we have to find a way to build around that, or just forget about it entirely. These are the most frustrating parts, I'm not gonna lie. Got about 15 seconds left on the build here, just kind of looking for those small pieces. Again, I kind of doomed myself there. I went for that single square and I didn't get another one. So now there's finally that second one, and it took till the very last second. And I cost myself any additional space just hunting for it, and I'm only going to have room to drop the 2 cannons we get. really need to do a better job of building in the future. This is a nightmare scenario where there's a fire ship and it's moving as fast as a ship can in this game. And about the only times we're able to hit it are when it runs into an obstacle and has to turn. We do get rid of it, but it's going to do a number on us here. You can see there's 6 shots it got off, and I just took one look at that and said, well, this was fun. Those cannons are no longer in play to me at this point, and my best solution, since most of the retaining wall around here was intact, was to try and go ahead and fill this area in. Which I did. That takes out a couple of the fire craters, and it gives me a nice decent fort to build from, and it's going to give me 3 new cannons. A little bit of improvising there. We lose our first fort. I'm sorry, only 2 cannons. But we do get through, and you can see the craters are covered now. Unfortunately, we're only shooting 2 shots a volley now. See that one ship's just sort of zipping around, but it was trapped in there, so it was just doing a little tiny squares for half of that round. It's just rapid fire gameplay. All the rounds are super quick, super simple, but it's a blast to play. No pun intended there, but feel free to roast me for doing the whole dad joke thing. Just trying to work my way around, find decent pieces, and I get stuck on those larger ones. Just trying to make anything fit in there, and it's just not working out. Wasting seconds. Finally get a small piece, and I misfire. I put it in the wrong spot, hit the A button before it was locked in place, just sort of panicked, and that's defeat number 2. Fortunately, that'll get rid of the fire ship, as the game's going to take a little mercy on me for how terribly I did. I'm going to pick the same spot we started at last time, because I just liked that spot. So we're going to deal with 3 double-masted ships here, but no fire, and none of them are moving particularly quickly. So we should be able to finish these off in a fairly clean fashion. It's not like any of them were really approaching the coast directly. We take about 5 hits, but, we've seen far worse, especially on this stage. Piece selection is not our friend this time. One thing you have to remember: always be on the lookout for those little pieces. Those are the things that are going to make your build. And close the second fort. There's still a few seconds left, and I'm thinking maybe I could stretch it, build a little bonus area. So we have area for our cannons, and we started extending outward. Only 2 ships on the horizon. I'm sorry, 3. It looked like 2 as I'm sitting there staring, but there's a single master right up against that double master on the right hand side there, basically running right into each other the entire way down the map before finally splitting directions. Single mast ship I'm not terribly worried about. All it's going to do is chuck cannon fire at us. Could see our 1 cannon's already completely closed in, and 1 piece later we have our first fort under wraps. So we could choose to be a little selective here, work back and forth. So we already know we've got this round good. Close in another fort, all the while just burning these pieces until we get another small piece. That little piece will fit in beautifully. And now we've got all but 1 fort closed in, a couple seconds left to start building around the final fort, and we wind up just a little shy of walling that in, but that was a really good build round. A lot of available space, and 5 new cannons to the cause. All to go against 3 ships. They're moving at a pretty good speed though. Kind of funny though, that double-masted ship tried landing the first time, and there was no room to drop the marine off, so it had to change direction before finally docking, and minimal damage done overall. Just a couple spots, and we even have a fort still perfectly intact. Get 2 more cleared on the first piece dropped. Now we've got everything we've built already taken care of, and we still have about 15 seconds. So we're just going to wall in every fort on the island and then just start fortifying. Not much to do at this point but reinforce. Make it tougher for those double-masted ships to drop off their little cronies. Not seeing any there. 7 single masters. So we've got plenty of target practice on this one. And we get our 6 cannons here. Plenty of room to put them in. I say plenty of room, but of course we were running out. And now you just hit the A button for the life of you, because by the time you're done even halfway getting through your cannonry, you're reloading. So just an endless stream of cannonballs hitting those guys. Once again, we have a fort and 5 cannons secured before the timer starts. That's when you feel really good about your decision-making processes, which for me in Rampart is not a very frequent feeling. So I'm just sort of giving myself the old self-pat on the back there. Now I need to find one of those tiny little squares if I'm getting anywhere. That cross piece is going to trip me up. Do eventually find a place for it, and then we find another large piece, and I've already built over just about anywhere that could go. We end up conquering Area 3 though, so pretty good run there, moving to the 4th. Start right on the edge by the coast, and gonna hate our decision to come to this spot because we're greeted by 3 fire ships out of the gate. 3 fire ships and 2 single masters. Gonna go after the slow one to just remove it before too much damage can be done. Now we're just trying to pile some pain on the 2 remaining. They're moving at a good clip. We do eventually eliminate them all and get that single master as well. But we are torn to absolute ribbons. That's 11 fire shots landed between those 3 ships, and once again it's time to just give up on that fort. Nothing we could really do with it but say goodbye. So we're going to go ahead, build in on those 2, and start expanding outward. Try and make next round a little more easy to manage for ourselves. And the game's doing a nice job of it as well. It's going to give us a half dozen single-masted ships to deal with, but nothing overly terrible to deal with. We're just going to get a bunch of holes poked in the walls. Especially if I keep missing. And if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, how I can miss so many shots with, you know, a little cape completely filled with enemy boats. Well, we're on the same page there. That was just a terrible job shooting by me. Another rebuild period. And another not super successful rebuild period. But we finally managed to get that unicorn one-piece square right in time and close in that area. So we'll get 2 more cannons for the cause, and we're going to need them because we've got a double-masted ship and a fire ship. And everything is moving at a pretty decent clip. Everything is fast to medium here. Going to take care of the double master and the Marines before working our way to the fire ship. Again, we know a lot of damage was done, and at some crucial points too. At this point, you could pretty much say goodbye to the bottom part of the map there. which is what we do. We end up thinking better of it, and we're like, you know, the only forts that count are the ones we could build around. Go ahead and get this closed in. Once again, 2 forts to our betterment. We lose our existing cannonry, but we live to fight another day. Best you could hope for in that situation. Drop our cannons, and we've now got to deal with 3 fire ships. Never a good thing when you've got to deal with more fire ships than you have cannons. Can kind of see defeat number 3 is pretty readily on the horizon at this point. But you got to go down swinging, and we do at least eliminate the fire ships. See, they did more than their fair share of the work. And at this point, just closing in around the cannonry we have is moral victory enough. Just that one little gap we need to fill in. Still 5 seconds. Can we get it? That little piece, and we missed it. Completely blew our shot in another round there. So the blue army is finally defeated. But we had a good run of it. Had a really good run, in fact, 28,667 points, good for first place. That of course will reset because this is a console port, but that has been a run through of Rampart for the Nintendo Entertainment System. This has been a Grumpy Old Guy Gaming.